Oh, it's just for the record. Good morning. I have a very light voice. As you can tell, the allergies have gotten me. I bet some of you have been plagued with it as well. We're here to welcome you to our 70th San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. It begins this Thursday, February the 7th, and it goes to the 24th. We've got a lot of action-packed entertainment, a lot of things that you're going to see at the fair. I think I've spoke to you before, but I'd like to tell you that our history began, rodeo began, or exhibitions where people brought animals from all over the country, actually began in the 1854. They brought in animals to have other people compare what they were growing and breeding, young youth that were learning to handle animals, and they had an exposition. And where it was held was along the San Pedro Creek. And people ask, why was it there? Why? Because like out here and everywhere else in life, we need water as a life source, both for the animals and the humans. And you know, like Texas weather, it's a little drizzling today, it rains, a cold norther's going to come in. That's just like the weather was then. It could go to 80. But there was no covering for animals or people. And so in 1945, Mr. Joe and Harry Freeman were the chairman of the Agricultural Committee of the Greater San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. So he went to H.B. Zachary, who is a builder here in town. You'll see the Zachary name, and Mr. Joe Morris, who actually owned another dealership. And they talked about being the leaders to get with the citizens of Bexar County about getting a bond proposal to build our Coliseum. It was originally called the Bexar County Coliseum, and it was renamed in honor of the two brothers who spearheaded it, the Joe and Harry Freeman Coliseum, and is still used today. But to make the best story short, is it was a partnership. They said, what are we going to do to get land and to build it? And so they went to the city of San Antonio, and they had roughly 204 acres on East Houston Street near Gimbler Road before AT&T Parkway went through. And they decided to give them that property. Originally, not like this beautiful farmland out here. I happen to know the family that had the property here when Toyota had the great desire and knowledge to build here. They actually gave it to the city, gave it to the county. So the county took this bond proposal to our Bexar County voters. It was passed unanimously, and they began breaking ground. The first show opened in 1949 with a circus or something that came in, and then our first show for the rodeo was February 17th, 1950. We've been the longest anchor tenants paying rent for all these 70 years. It has gone up substantially since we first started, as you know. It's kind of the way it is. But it's the growth that's possible. They formed a San Antonio Livestock Exposition, which is our parent company. It's a 501c3, a nonprofit, and our mission is a volunteer organization that emphasizes agriculture and education to develop the youth of Texas. And so when you hear that, our mission, how do we do it? We have our biggest thing is our San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. We started out with the first committee being a livestock committee where those kids brought in their animals and breeders. The first show was 3 days, and it was a record for that premier time to come to the Coliseum and bring 250,000 people through those grounds. Today, we have over 2 million people that come through our grounds. It's 18 days, and we have 21 performances. One of the key things that you should know about is, just like Toyota or anywhere else in town, there are two major components to rodeo. We have two types of committees. Those that are fundraisers. You probably heard about the Let's Rodeo Ball, the golf tournaments, the Go Rodeo San Antonio, a lot of parties they have, different fundraisers that raise money. But equally important is organizational committees, those who do operational things. We have an actual operations, everything from putting toilet paper into whatever, setting up the tents, the wraps, the advertising, the change of the pins. It's volunteer driven. We have over 6,000 volunteers that put their sweat, their money, and their hearts into making it work. And it's 24 hours a day like you're running pretty much here to get all that done. Without the spirit of the volunteer, who is the lifeblood, we really wouldn't have, we'd have to be paying people. So nobody gets paid. We have a limited staff, and it's great. What I'd like you to remember is there is something that's very invaluable, and I know that Toyota has this as well, your core values. Ours is easy to remember. It's like what's in any ice drink that you have, ICE. It's I for integrity, C for caring, and 3 for excellence. So it's what you have to do every day here, right? You bring your best game. You do your best every day, no matter if anybody's looking or not. You're going to be caring about each other and about their company culture. And then you're going to do the most excellent work that you can. So those are our principles. We've always held firm to those, which has benefited us as a rodeo because we have attracted many local, state, and national companies that have come in as sponsors. We're a family-oriented show. The economic impact here in San Antonio over our show was done by Trinity University, and the impact even last year was $252 million just during the show. Because not only do people come to our show, they go buy cars, they eat at restaurants, they stay in motels, they visit San Antonio in its finest, because Texas hospitality is pretty hard to beat, isn't it? Because I say that, I would also tell you that San Antonio has now won the 14th Best Large Indoor Rodeo of the Year. That is not something we vote on, something any other rodeo votes on. It's voted on those cowboys and cowgirls that bring their animals and compete. It's also voted on by the stock contractors who we invite the top 40 stock producers in the United States and Canada to bring their premier animals here. So we have the best of animal athletes and the best of rodeo contestants so that the rodeo is at its best. When you take that component, we not only have the rodeo for them to do, there's something we started a few years ago called the Rodeo Star Experience, and you probably hear it. It's a $200 ticket, but I'm going to tell you how we sell them. We started this with the $200 ticket. It gets you a reserved parking. Rosemary Kowalski, they have a big tent that looks like a house. You go in there and you have a steak dinner. You go into the inside of the arena. You're in the fan zone. Then when at the time of the stars, they move you down right into the dirt. You get down and close right in front of the stage. You'll see chairs around the stage. You watch the rodeo, and then you get a commemorative director's chair to take home. Why is that happening? Because we wanted to pay our contestants entry fees. For those of you who are not familiar with rodeo, contestants pay entry fees to compete. Not only that, they pay to travel across the country, their own gas, hauling animals, taking care of them as they go. They bring families, so it's quite expensive to go on the circuit. When I mention the circuit, we're in the we're in the winter circuit, and everybody says, why is it always in February, the rodeo? It's because it's too hot in the summer. We have to look out for animals. So they come during the cooler months on the circuit, and it began in January, and they go all the way through December. You'll hear about the PRCA, the National Rodeos Finals. They're always the first weekend in December to the second. They are the ones that compete for the world champion. If you don't know about rodeo, they take their winnings as they go across the country in their standings to compete at NFR. Because if you don't have enough money to get in, you won't get in. And it's a tough competition. Like anything, it's man against beast. There are trained stock that do those activities. We look out for animal safety. But it's been something phenomenal as far as the rodeo goes. I would like to say, too, that the purse money last year was $1.75 million that the guys got and girls got to take home. I got to look at my roof. And that's a lot of money for them to take, but it really is their playing and their highest paying PRCA rodeo other than the NFR, so it's a pretty premier rodeo. The other thing is they get a $5,000 fuel card, because as I told you, they have to haul those animals, so those winners are going to take that back plus their buckles. And the wonderful thing is any animal that competed in that event, that producer gets another certificate for $1,500 to keep raising animals. So we try and treat them right. We have a contestants hospitality, we have Cowboy Church, we have a medical and physical committee, all kinds of help. It's all volunteer. So they have the best of the best, paramedics, nurses, eye surgeons, whatever they need, it's equipped to do it. Plus, San Antonio is pretty darn friendly, isn't it? It's no place like Texas hospitality, particularly here, I say in San Antonio, because I'm prejudiced. I was born here. I'm a third-generation native San Antonian. But it makes it a wholesome atmosphere. Not only if you can't afford a rodeo ticket that start at $20, the genres of entertainers, there's some little pocket schedules back there, and it has everything you want to know about rodeo. Our websites, there's a San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo app. There's a lot to know. It has our mission, a lot of facts that you want to know. We have something new this year called Come Early, Come Late. Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we're going to have 5 different stages with 180 bands that will be playing free. They're going to be just different genres of music. The carnival will be open till midnight. So it's kind of be like Fiesta, come out and party at night. And I've told Richard I've brought some season passes. If you get a grounds pass, if you had to go buy one pass, it's $25. I put 2 in each envelope. And he has also purchased some. But that's a $50 thing. You can go in and out, pass it to your friends to go, bring it to your kids, get your neighbors to do it. It's not with a name. It's a generic swipe. There's a barcode on it. And they will scan that barcode, and you can come in as many times as you want the entire show. So the performances last to our grand finals are on the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. when the champions are selected. However, on Saturday, we have ranch rodeo. We have an ag mechanics class. There's still lots to see and do. There's a lot of specials that day from our rodeo vendors, also from food, also from carnival. So always check on the paper every day or look on the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo app. It's free on your iPhone and Samsung. Yes. So just download that so you can come in anytime. What's good about rodeo is why would you come? Every time you park, every time you buy something to eat, every time you come out and buy a grounds ticket or just come out there and enjoy yourself, that is helping our educational commitment. We've given $198.6 million in educational commitment. That's so it happens in San Antonio, our show, but the impact is statewide. Anyone who'd like to go to college in Texas can apply. You can't know me to get a scholarship. I have nothing to do with that. What we do is we entrust colleges and universities, that's both here at Alamo Colleges, the local colleges and state colleges, apply for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo or the SAIL, San Antonio Livestock Exposition. Go to their office, register your child. What it does mandate is they go 12 full credit hours and they go through school. They can win a lot of money to go through the school as long as they keep their grades. It's not too tough, a 2.5 GPA. If they do go into anything science, like doctors, nurses, physician's assistants, radiology, whenever they go into anything that has a clinical or a lab, they can drop down to 9 credit hours. So we want kids to finish and get an education. We work with them. At one point, we've had a young lady that got sick, a very rare disease, ended up going to the Mayo. We give kids up to 2 years to complete their program. She actually had to go further. So once we get someone in a scholarship, we work with them to succeed because that's what we want, like anything, retention, right? If you get them in school and they complete, and as I tell kids, you all have them, kids sometimes make mistakes, and when they go from high school to college, they forgot to party too much and they didn't stay paying attention. We allow them to have tutoring. We don't want a kid to feel like a failure. I always tell kids, just because you make a mistake, it's really just a speed bump. That's not a stop sign. And that's why you got to go on, because Texas in at large will be improved by the education that we have in Texas. We also have some new stuff this year. Every year they have some specialty acts. And this year they're going to have something that I'm going to wait to see. We're have the Slackline Collective. It's going to be a show that's filled with spectacular flips, jumps, breathtaking tricks, all performed on a 2-inch piece of nylon webbing. That's going to be something. We're going to have Extreme Dogs, their high-energy stunt show featuring none other than man's best friend. And then we're having a show called the Off-Axis Stunt Show. Its athletes are going to use trampolines to captivate the audience with flips, jumps, and coordinated tricks. The horse show has something new this year. They have only this time a ladies breakaway, and that's going to be something, a roping, that's going to be held 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I told you about the rodeo after dark, so make plans there. Dollar days are February the 8th, the 18th, the 22nd. You get everything in. You can walk in for $1 until 6 o'clock. Tuesdays, $2 Tuesdays, you get fairgrounds to the mission, $2 carnival rides and select food items. $2 every day, all day long on Tuesday. And military, if you're military served, you get free admissions to anyone with a valid military ID. So those are some of the things that are attractions. We have other things that I'm sure you've heard me speak before, but besides people who bring animals, last year they took $6,375,000 from our auction. But what we do have that you may not know is a lot of knowledge-based competitions, agricultural science fair, public speaking, consumer decision-making, all types of skillathons in the breeds, so that they have an opportunity. We have a Western art show. So there's a lot of capabilities for any student, whether they're involved in agriculture or the Western way of life. We celebrate Texas. This past weekend, we had our Western Heritage Parade. I hope you got to catch it on the television, or we were downtown. It's iconic to represent San Antonio's faces, and the culture we celebrate every day is together. If you don't have a ticket, just come out to the grounds. It's really like going to a mini state fair. You can see everything you want, the foods, the sides, the smells, the vendors. There's 600 shopping vendors. You can go from your face powder to your grave. There's all kinds of things to pick up there at rodeo discounts. It's a place of family, and I always tell people, today we all get on our technology, but really if you get out and walk together, see something together, you make memories, and that's really the most valuable gift you have. The information is back there. I apologize about my voice, but I want to introduce to you Miss Samantha Caton, the 2018 Miss Rodeo Texas.
Hi everyone, thank you all so much for having me out today. And so part of my platform as Miss Rodeo Texas is we go through a pageant every June, and I invite all of you to come out. Our pageant this year will be June 26th through the 28th, and it follows a very similar platform to a typical beauty pageant, but we are no typical beauty pageant, I can assure you that. So we have different interview skills, knowledge, and it's not just current event knowledge or personality knowledge. It is equine science, it is rodeo, it is current events, personality, anything under the sun that you can find on Google, they may ask you. We also have horsemanship in place of a talent portion, and there is just so much. The skills that I have gained during this experience have been insurmountable, and I am so thankful for not only the Miss Rodeo Texas organization, but for the San Antonio Rodeo, because they are our main scholarship sponsor. Like she had said, the scholarships is really what the rodeo is all about. And because of the scholarship that I am receiving from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, I will be able to complete my master's degree from Texas A&M completely paid for. And that's something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do. And just the opportunities that are granted to the youth of Texas is amazing. And the different things that people can come out and do at the rodeo, that people that aren't rodeo people or Western people can come out and experience such great opportunities and see things that they've never seen before, and that's just amazing. And I applaud the San Antonio Rodeo for that, for being so inclusive and inviting everybody and just giving everybody the chance to come out with the $1 days, the $2 days, and the entertainment that you can experience. That it's not just country music, it's just not pop music. You get a little taste of everything, and that's amazing.
Yes, our entertainment in the arena, likewise, there's different genres of music. You'll see them. There's from comedians to no one else. You have traditional country. You'll have a lot of variety there. So there's something for everyone. Whether you're 2 or 92, we do have some strong events. You can have a good time, and everyone is invited, and we're hoping to see y'all this coming Thursday, starting then all the way to the 24th. Come out, come often, and have fun. Thank you. Help us to make those kids and your future kids have a good education.